Hi, this is Dan here. I hope you're doing well today. In this lesson, I've got some ideas that will help you clarify your thinking around practice and how to get better at bass. A while ago, I found something on the internet that was something like this, and it was about productivity, and it really helped me. So this is my bass version, and we start off with, I will work on my technique. Now, you know, if I'm going, I'll often do something like that in my practice. I will work on just improvising. And when you play bass, especially at the beginning, you feel frustrated and you feel oftentimes like you want to give up. And I think that, in my experience anyway, with pupils, a lot of that is just the technical barrier that it presents. So really, really work hard, I would suggest, on your technique, probably more than anything else, because once you get up and running with it, you want to remove frustration and anger and any kind of negative emotions that come with bass playing. And like I say, I think a lot of that is technique. So, you know, when I'm going, I'm doing hammer-ons. I'm concentrating on the coordination between the two hands, slowing things down. Note length. Pull-offs, slides. Now I'm expressing myself on the bass here, and in order to do that, I need to have these techniques locked in. I need accuracy, I need fluency, and also I need to know different parts of the neck, which is fretboard knowledge. However, work on technique really, really hard, and eventually you'll be able to express your ideas without any of that frustration. I focus on tone, timing, taste. Now these are the three elements of great bass playing. You probably see a lot of flashy bass playing, bombarded with it on YouTube and Instagram, and I love that kind of playing, I really do. But in my experience of playing lots of sessions and gigs, these three areas of music are what people like. So I've got a Stingray 5 here, and it's got these sort of ground wound strings on. I've got loads of different basses with different setups around me. But it doesn't matter what bass I play. I'm really focusing on, you know, if I'm playing a bit like I did before. Fretting. I can't fret there, otherwise I'll get a buzz. I've got to be consistent with where I fret. Timing is an incredibly important aspect. There I'm not playing with a metronome, but I am tapping my foot and I'm trying to keep everything in time. Do play with a metronome, use drum beats, use drum loops, play along to records. These are all things that are going to help you with your timing, as is obviously playing with a very good drummer. Taste, that's only acquired, in my opinion, by listening to the great bass players of all time. Listen to amazing bass lines, analyze them, figure out what it is that they're playing that sounds good. If you hear something that you really like, grab it. Make it a part of your own voice on the bass. I will make do with the gear I have, and I have no room for G.A.S, gear acquisition syndrome. Now this one is directed at me because I often spend hours and hours working out what pedal is going to make me sound better, but it's a false economy. That what strings you use, look, it's not really going to make too much of a difference. That's why I'm saying at first, at the top of this is technique, and then timing, tone, taste. Reclaim some of that time. I mean, I don't know if you're anything like me and you waste too much time thinking about gear, but it's not really going to help you too much. This bass I've had since 2003, and I've done thousands of gigs on this. It's, you know, there are loads of basses that are better than this, loads and loads, but I like it. It does what I need it to do. It's reliable. It's a 5-string, so I can use it across lots of different types of music, you know, whether it's theatre or, you know, recording sessions, whatever. Find something that works for you and just get on with learning the good stuff. I'm not saying ignore bass gear, because I absolutely love it and I'm sure you do too. But I think if you can invest more time in getting good at the instrument, then you can actually make any gear sound good. I will work on my ear until I can understand music better. Now this comes down to, you know, I did a lesson just now. That's a B natural minor scale. I know that from that scale I can get a minor pentatonic. I know that adding that note is a blues scale. Now I have a set of notes that I can jam with, and I know that there's an arpeggio in there. So I can start to make music with this. Also, this is going to help me analyze music when I hear a bass line that I really like. Every single one of these notes in this key, I'll stick to this as an example, has an arpeggio built on that. And that's what you want to do. You want to increase your knowledge of theory, you want to know how to use it, and then you want to condition your ear to be able to hear all these elements of bass playing so that you can jam, you can improvise, you can compose, you can listen to music, and you can grab the ideas quickly. As an example, one of my favorite bass lines, Good Times. You realize after a while that's just a Dorian mode. A Dorian mode is one that sounds really funky. Once you get that connection, you can then grab that mode and you can jam within it. You can make up funk bass lines. I don't want to reduce funk to just this scale, but it's used so much in funk and funk rock and loads of sort of early Chili Peppers stuff, for example. This kind of explains that style of music. So what you do is you working on your ear sort of means learning lots of different theory concepts and using your ear to sort of figure out the pattern, what it sounds like, and then matching it to music. It's kind of like triangulating these three things. And then music becomes so easy once you can decipher it, once you can understand it. And there's not that much you need to know in order to really get a grasp on it. Now, I've got a course called From Beginner to Bassist, and it's actually quite intermediate, really, in that it takes a lot of theory ideas and teaches you how to make music. So if you're a real beginner and you want to understand a little bit, the course does a lot, but it does take some theory ideas and explains it. Gives you a really good foundation. I don't get despondent when I hear an amazing player. Instead, I learn from them. Now, I've been playing for 30 years, and still now, I will sometimes hear a player and just go, I'm never going to be able to get to that standard. But really, the older I get, the more I realize it actually doesn't matter. Technique to a really hyper amazing level, you don't really need on bass. If you think about it, that timing, tone, tasting I was talking about early. If you just play bass really simply with excellent tone and excellent timing, you will be loved and valued as a band member or on a recording or jamming with friends. That's kind of all you need to do. So in that case, you can just be inspired by people that you hear, but don't think that, if you're hearing something online that just sounds amazing and you'll never be able to do, quite possibly it just doesn't matter. You'll never need to play that, and no one's going to care. They just want a bass player that can turn up on time with decent gear and sound good and just lay down a really good groove. That is a very tangible goal. That's very achievable for you. Every practice session is maximised, so I improve even 1%. I think this is one of the most important areas in which you can improve. And that's just thinking about your practice a lot, making a practice area that you love going to, make it easy for you to practice, write down your goals, write down what went well in a session, what you need to work on, just have a system in place. Lots of things you want to learn. I would recommend lots of easy bass lines to start with, and then you can build up things like scales and theory and technique. Just have a system so that you're always playing something that's a little bit difficult for you, so that you're always improving. Once you've mastered something, move on from it. And if you can practice perfectly and you practice with good practice technique, then you'll find that you can make these incremental gains, and over time that will compound and you'll get really good. I have a clear game plan for my development. My improvement is completely under my control. How many times have you felt really frustrated and not really known what to play? Now, if you're a beginner, that's completely normal. That's completely the case. It's up to you to, to watch videos. I've got books, I've got courses. There are plenty of other things out there that will show you the way, what you need to learn. And there will be a point where you grasp it a little bit more and you understand what you need to do. I think I'm a big fan of, I was playing it earlier. There's an arpeggio. Use your technique to make music from it, then you gain some understanding. Then the next practice session, you can work on maybe a favorite bass line of yours. And if you just have a plan, and I even mean down to the fact of what kind of bass player do you want to be? Do you want to be flashy and solo bass player? Go for it. You know, I said earlier about technique. If that's what you want to do, please do it. But if you want to play with friends in a jamming situation, or you want to learn to read music, you need to have a clear game plan. And then every practice session, you can work on those things. I will follow my musical soul. What I mean by this is to go where your heart takes you with music. If you love soul music, R&B, Motown, then that's where you need to be headed. If you're seeing loads of players play jazz and you don't really like jazz, but you see lots of people doing it, if your heart's not there, don't do it. Do you like punk bass playing, reggae bass playing? You know, you've really got to listen to lots of music. And this is going to help you enjoy bass more, is to play the things that you like. I personally love a bit of everything, and I've had to play a lot of everything in my career as a bass player. So my musical soul is versatility. That's what I love. But if you just like one style of music, it's, I don't know, dance music from the 90s, and there's some good bass playing in that. Go there, transcribe those bass lines and learn from it. I push myself and open up my musical horizons. Nothing is off limits, and I'm curious about new music and new things to practice. Now, this follows on from my previous point. Yes, if you like one style, go for it, but you will find that if you put your attention to something that you don't know about now, you'll be surprised at how much you can learn from it. So for me, like reggae bass has always been something that I haven't really played much of. It seems really simple, but it's just not. To get that feel, to get that tone, you know, like... You know, you've got to get the bassy tone, you've got to get the feel exactly right. And the more I put my attention there, the more I find that I'm gaining so much. And jazz is another area for me that whenever I learn jazz, I just feel like my brain is just learning so much. I do feel that the more you push yourself, the more techniques you learn, the more different music theory, the more patterns, the more styles, I think the better. That's it. I hope you got something from that. If you do fancy a PDF downloadable version of that, then click the link below. Other than that, do have a really good day, and I'll see you on the next video.